The prison reform movement has been prevalent for the entirety of the United States history. Francis Gaudet's interest with this can be pinpointed to a Saturday morning in 1894. She was at a train stop and saw an older woman crying. If you know anything about Gaudet, you know in situations like this, she would do everything she possibly could to help, and that she did. She approached the woman asking what was wrong. The woman gestured towards the train car where 20 black men and 4 black women were being transported to the penitentiary where they would face awful living conditions and hard labor. Gaudet walked the woman home and learned more about her son. The same night, she read an article containing details about the prisoners she had seen earlier. The article had a list of the prisoners and the crimes they were found guilty of, making sure to publicly shame them. Mass incarceration was the United States' crude attempt to continue to profit off free labor, and it was no coincidence that the 24 people she saw were all black. She turned to God for advice as she was unclear of how to help prisoners and their families. She explains that God answered her prayers, urging her to go to prison and teach the prisoners Christian values and how to pray. She was very nervous to visit prisoners, but understood the necessity in a matter of days when a minister came to her for advice in helping his son who was accused of murder. He preached his son's innocence, but did not have the money for a lawyer. She was granted access to the prison once a week to host a prayer session for the inmates. Accompanied by the minister, they prayed alongside prisoners without judgment. Many of the prisoners found comfort in the idea of God granting them forgiveness. Others just enjoyed the company of Gaudet, someone who truly wanted them to succeed, which ironically is nearly impossible to find in prison. She includes many anecdotes to show truly how massive her impact was on some of the people she interacted with. A particular story that stuck out with me was her interactions with Frank Fuller and James Murray, both men found guilty of murder. Fuller quickly accepted Gaudet's teaching and felt as if God was granting him forgiveness on the first session with her. On the other hand, Murray was more hesitant to accept her teachings and fell on the floor crying it was too late. After more meetings, he accepted God into his heart and felt like a new man. Gaudet accompanied him as his death warrant was presented to him. She explains how relaxed he was during the process and prayed to God that his transition was peaceful. On the day of his death, he prayed with Francis and thanked her for teaching him so much during his final few weeks. In her time spent with Fuller and Murray, she also moved the guard in the room to tears, and he asked her to pray for him as well. He was killed shortly after by a prisoner, but other prisoners explained to Gaudet the impact she had on the guard, and all felt sorry about his death. This story stuck out to me because it captures her ability to connect with all different types of people. The sad fact that these 2 men died puts into perspective how her teachings can completely transform people into living fuller lives. Reading stories like this helps you understand how revolutionary she truly was. She led over 500 prisoners to convert to Christianity and 1,100 others into promising to change their lives for the better. Each of these thousands of prisoners she interacted with had their own special story and journey. Gaudet was a pioneer in the movement, leading prisoners to religious lives. Her success helped the movement quickly gain popularity and is still extremely prevalent in prisons all over the world today.